It's getting summer here finally, and I'm in the mood for some colors now. And in this video I'd love to show you a stunning dial color together with a stunning case. And I'd like to give you some tourist information about Malta, that former pirate's island right under Sicily. And now let's do it. Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and our topic today is a stunning watch by 470, bronze watch with a blue dial that reminded me of the Mediterranean Sea that I visited in March because I visited there the island Malta. And Cormac Hanley 470 asked me, hey, do you want to take a prototype with you for your vacation? You have a nice bronze summer watch and would suit your style. And I said, of course, yes, absolutely great vacation watch. And then I was wearing it during our 11 or 12 day trip there. And this was one of these watches that catch attention. Strangers approached me and asked, where did you buy that watch? That looks stunning piece. And over the days I realized it is a stunning piece, but why? And then I finally realized that this is a watch that must be a bronze watch. You know this hype. I mean, we all have our examples where we see a bronze watch and we think, nice, but basically a gimmick. The dial and the construction and the overall design don't demand a bronze case. But with the 470 watch, I realized this dial needs that bronze case, and I can prove it. Believe it or not, I can prove it with a color wheel and some other observations in the light box. And let's do that right now. All right, and here we are with our two watches, two dial colors, as you can see. And I think we could start with this one. Let me give you the specs first. We have here a bronze case, and the case diameter is 36 millimeters. Length is 45 and the height is 12.5 millimeters. Lug width 20. We have a sapphire crystal, a screw down crown, water resistance of 200 meters, solid case back so that your skin is not in direct contact with the bronze. The inside is the STP1 Swiss made movement. This is basically an ETA 2824, same specs, so 28,800 beats. And 44 hours power reserve. And the watch comes here on the Caseback number 2 leather strap. All right, let's begin now with the dial, with the core of the watch. This is brass treated with acid to create this color. And then all these indices and lines are engraved. And as always in case of 470, there's some thinking behind this design. It's called sliver, the asymmetric miracle of time. Each second identical in duration, and yet in these slivers of life, no two moments are ever the same. We measure time, we value moments. And you see that these hands are partly loomed in an elegant curve, white. And this was my only bit of criticism with the prototype, that the legibility in darker rooms was reduced. And it is a bit of a summer watch, yes, but when you enter a restaurant, then you like to know the time. And so I think this is important, and the legibility now is way better. Now it's really fixed that problem. And you may note these tiny screws here in position 2 and 8. This is the connection dial movement. And you have this on every watch, and some watchmakers use it as a design element. And these screw heads here are hand polished. So overall it's a lot of handwork in these watches, and so it's very time consuming to produce them. And here's the other one now. Brighter. Specs are the same though. Same look, same movement, same case, same pattern, but the color is different. And these colors are not the result of some sort of random process. He can recreate an exact color. Don't ask me how in detail, by the way, I don't know. But he really can recreate a certain color, which is absolutely fascinating to see. And here you have it. Again, you have this nice contrast bronze case and this blue like the ocean. And now let's check out the functionality. Screw down crown as mentioned. Allows hand winding like the good old ETA. One position. So because this is the no date version, and now you have a nice tight connection between crown and hands. I'm a bit of a maniac. In case you're a subscriber, you know that I want a tight connection, and here it is. So let's close it again. And there you go. And now I'd like to explain why I think that these are real bronze watches, that these dials demand this material. First, the dial has this structure, this rather rustic structure, a bit organic. And bronze will develop a certain patina that also looks a bit rustic and a bit organic. And so I think this will be a perfect match. And then second, the color. In Malta, I was thinking, why does it look so good? I mean, the colors are extremely different. Why do they look so good together? And the explanation is they are complementary colors. If you see a color wheel, artists use this, or designers, then you can see a complementary color. For example, violet you see here, and the complementary color is this green. This goes extremely nice together. Or take red and green. You see this all the time in design, art, advertising. And this is of course the explanation. If you see the bronze tone, this one, or younger bronze, this one, then you see here these blue tones on the other side. And this is the explanation for this phenomenon here. And so I'm very happy that I've found this, so that I don't have to ramble some marketing bullshit here. You really can see it on the color wheel. And so we have structure and color match here. And I think this is the explanation why this watch works so well. Okay, I leave it there. Normally I do a wrist shot in my reviews, but these watches are for sale. The price for Europe is 1,130 euros, and for everybody outside Europe it's 950 euros. The difference is the VAT, and these are brand new straps, and I don't want to wear them. I want that the buyers get something really brand new and unworn. Alright, welcome back. And as mentioned, these watches are now available at caseback.watches.com, and in case they sell out quickly, then we will replace them. Then they will become a regular part of the Caseback Watches 470 lineup there. By the way, it's always a good idea to sign up to our newsletter, caseback.watches.com. At the bottom you find a newsletter, and this newsletter I use always for new products or items back in stock, something like that. And now let's speak about Malta. As said, I visited the island in March, and I made some beautiful observations and some pretty bad observations, definitely. And this contrast between beauty and sadness was so big that I wrote back then an article for a local newspaper here in Hamburg, Germany. And I will read that article for you together with some beautiful images. And it's 2.5 minutes long, and I think you will find that interesting. And you should hear to that before you plan your trip to Malta. During the drive from the airport to the hotel, the statistics are confirmed. With about 520,000 inhabitants on 360 square kilometers, Malta is the state with the 5th highest population density in the world. A large part of the Maltese live in the modern valletta that encloses the historic old town. Here, street canyons have been created in recent years. Anyone who climbs to vantage points or a high-rise building sees something that resembles a Brazilian favela. Blocks stacked close together with no regard for neighbors, view, traffic and local character. There is no subway, no streetcar, no bicycle path. All local traffic is handled by buses and private cars. In terms of registration, Malta ranks second in the European Union, just behind Italy. In the morning and in the evening, enormous traffic jams paralyze the island. The old town, where almost 6,000 Maltese still live, is a unique beauty, built in sandstone and marble. The Arab influence is unmistakable, Moorish balconies mixed with Roman architecture. Cultural treasures such as a painting by Caravaggio can be discovered in every corner. Also very interesting are testimonies from the modern past. For example, the Lascari's War Room, a former Royal Navy and Royal Air Force command post for conducting naval and air defense of the island during World War II. The Lascari's War Room played an important role during Operation Husky, the liberation of Sicily in 1943 through Allied forces. Much of the facility has been preserved now and is open to visitors. All this makes Old Valletta a city so beautiful and unique that it's one of the must-sees in all of Europe. The northern part of the island is less built up, but how to get there? During rush hour, the journey of about 10 kilometers regularly takes over 1 hour. Buses are so crowded that they do not always stop at the stations, so that long waiting times must be planned. Then, however, you see a coastal landscape which reminds in the off-season of Ireland, and in the hot of Crete. The weather, especially in spring and early summer, is fantastic. The sun warms, the wind cools, rain is a rarity. Still original is the island of Gozo, located in the north. So far it is accessible only by a ferry and accordingly undeveloped. However, there are already plans for an airport on Gozo plus a tunnel. In Malta itself there is also a great deal of criticism of the building mania, but apparently the construction industry and the government are too closely networked. Short-term profit is more important than a sustainable development of the island. So there you have it, light and shadow. And what can we do? How can we do that trip? First, in case you like to visit that island, do it now before they suffocate themselves with this crazy situation around the traffic. And my suggestion is that you could book a so-called boutique hotel, so smaller hotel, in the middle of the old city. There are some beautiful, nice hotels. And so then you have the ride from the airport to your hotel, and then you can do everything by foot in Old Valletta. And I would say that city is good for 3 to 4 days by foot. You can discover so much. And when you're tired of it, then it's time to go out to make some trips to other cities like Medina and Mostar, with beautiful sights, absolutely stunning sights, lots of culture, and this typical mix of let's say Northern Africa and Europe. Absolute fascinating, but do not book a hotel in the outskirts of Valletta. It's absolutely terrible, as you have seen. And now comes the last part of this video, viewers' images, the images you have sent in to caseback.watches@icloud.com with nice wristies and nice sights. And our first image here is from Dimitrios, and he writes, "Hi Tim, I completed my 3-watch collection. I have sent you my 2 other pieces last summer. This is a Carven 35mm. It is an automatic watch. Can you please tell me a way to detect the time period that it was made? I could not find another automatic watch from that brand, only quartz watches. Best wishes." This is a tough case. I mean, sometimes you can figure it out with the movement number. For example, vintage Omega, it's very simple. You can open the watch, there's a movement number, so the model of the movement, and a serial number for the movement, and there, with that thing, you can find out the exact year, or the exact 2 years, let's say, of your old Omega. But with that example here, with that Carven, I have no idea. And so I will show you this watch again now. Dear viewer, if you know more, if you can tell us, then please let us know in the comment section how we can figure out, how Dimitrios can figure out the age of this watch. Very tough question, but I'd love to see an answer in the comment section. And the next image comes from a viewer with a nickname AI or L. I'm not sure how to read that, to be honest. Very sorry. And he writes, "I find this watch very attractive, and this watch is a bravure. Particularly its 38.2mm diameter and its nicely decorated movement, as well as its well-designed dial. It runs within cost parameters and is very comfortable on the wrist. This watch is number 2 of a production run of 50. The watch runs on a nicely decorated SW511B with blued screws. All are inspired by 3 major cycle races. This one reminds me of a mini Planet Ocean. Note the central tarmac textured dial and the upside down 13 on the bezel, as 13 is considered bad luck and so in bicycle races is worn upside down." Oh, interesting, I didn't know that. "I rate the watch highly, not least for its Swedish steel construction." Thank you for sending this in. This is interesting. This is kind of a blind spot. I think I've seen Bravo once, and I featured one of their models in a preview in Watch of the Week. But now it's pretty silent around them. Or do I confuse them with another brand? I'm not sure. So thanks again. Guys, I'm really learning here something with all these viewers' images. And so if you want to participate with a particular interesting piece here, dear viewer, then caseback.watches@icloud.com is your email address. Alright, and that's all for this week's episode. If you want to have your sneak previews here and there, then please follow me on Instagram, caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.